Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Welcome and good morning. I really give a warm welcome to y'all that come to my podcast, Fight CPS with me, Bob Pace, and hang on to your children. I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving husband and a father of 6 children and 41 years of marriage. And I'm here to help you all with your battle against what I call the Child Protection System, CPS. It's all the government entities out there that are in every state, every county. And the Child Protection System is mandated by Congress that a part of social services will protect our children from neglect or abuse. They have lay people and professional people that will call in if they report or suspect neglect or abuse. Professional people are trained. Lay people, it's a 50-50 hit or miss because a lot of the lay people use alternative motives to report a CPS case. Now, besides this branch of social services, which I call the CPS, Child Protection System, it may be called other names in other states and other countries. And yes, I say country because our podcast is worldwide. And I have right now over 20 countries that have either texted me a message or actually called in. I've had from Bangladesh to India, 2 countries in India, 6 countries in Africa, 7 countries in Europe. Then across the pond, I have Canada and 3 provinces, the United States and 50 states, plus the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. And then I have Mexico, and then in South America, I have Grenada. Then across the Pacific, I have New Zealand, and then 2 states in Australia, the Gold Coast and Victoria, where Melbourne area is. So those are the countries I've spoken to, and as I said, all 50 states. There's been over 900 people I've talked to since October 2023. And so as it's 15 months, I come on daily, twice a day, once in the morning at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and again at evening time at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour each on the programs. Now I'm on Monday through Sunday, and it's twice a day, so that's 14 shows a week, morning, evening, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I'm on it. And I'm here because I too had a CPS case, very bad case. I've fought CPS now for 15 years. And it was a horrible, horrible experience for me. And I like to share what I learned. Also, developed 5 rules that will help you get your kids back or hang on to your kids. Now, CPS is mandated to protect our kids, but lately, many of the CPS counties, the social workers are automatically taking your child when there's no domestic violence, apparently. In my case, that was the case. I had 5 years of false allegations. So every week I had to tell CPS, no, that wasn't true, or show them, I showed them my home and stuff for 5 years. Unfortunately, I didn't know it was my in-laws that were calling. My wife's mother, father, 3 sisters, and a brother. And they'd call in once a week and say that we were doing atrocious things to our kids, which wasn't true. Like they weren't in school, they didn't take showers, they didn't eat, we had no utilities turned on, etc., etc., etc. And I show them the utility bills, I show them the grade reports. In fact, one time the kids were interviewed. They called us, the school called us and said, you need to come on down and your children are going to be interviewed. Now, they're interviewed away from us, but they found nothing from the kids. You see, nothing substantiates the constant report by the family in Ohio against us. So that was a nightmare for us because we'd never been exposed to something like this and never did that. Now I'm on early this morning, 8 o'clock, because Vincent Davis, who you just heard, has a morning podcast. It's a question and answer. So please register with the school, register with the morning podcast, and you can actually ask him questions. He's on this morning at 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I know it's early. It's Saturday morning, just like Friday night. It was late, and a lot of people were busy. And it's terrible right now because we got these horrible fires that just won't seem to go away. It's really sad how the wind can be so destructive. Now, this is a friendly place. I have a lot of regulars that come back, and I like seeing them when they come in. And also, it's family here, so you'll like this room. You can speak freely. All I ask you is to respect one another, and the topic is about the child protection system. The child protection system. Now, if you're in Arizona, it's called the Department of Children's Services. If you're in California, it's the Child Protection Services in Orange County. But you go next door to the LA County, and it's the Department of Children and Family Services. So it varies from place to place. In Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So when I say CPS, you'll know what I mean. It's anything that deals with to protect our children from neglect or abuse. Now, if they do have to take your children into custody because of extreme danger to your children, they need to do what's called family reunification. That's where they make a plan of how they get your family back together, because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents, the mother and father. Now, if the father decides to go rogue and go bad and not be supportive, that's a SAB. I want all those fathers to stand with your children. Same thing goes with mothers. There's mothers that go rogue too, and it should be. When you guys have a child, it's your responsibility to bring that child up and till they're 18 and teach them how to be a good person. that will help out others and be respectful to others. Like the golden rule says, treat others like you be treated, like how you want to be treated. Treat others like how you want to be treated. Now, another thing that the child protection system is supposed to do, the social worker is supposed to help you out if you need food or shelter or clothing or transportation, or maybe you need help with your kids in school, or you might need help with a parenting class, so education, and then medical for all your family needs. And after that, also they help you find a job if you don't have a job. It's certainly not against the law to be homeless or poor or live in a hotel or some other arrangement. But it's really important that you have a nice home for your family, whether it's owned or rented. Now, I'm glad that we have several people in the room because we're just starting off this morning, and hopefully they'll be coming in shortly. There are 4 ways to interact with this room. First way is just by joining this podcast. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS. I'm glad you did. And again, a warm welcome. Now, there's emojis you can do in this room, and there are like hearts and thumbs up and smiley faces. Also, you can send me stars. If you want to follow me, please check the button below. And if you want to be notified, please check the button below. So, with that being said, the second thing you can do in this room is you can text me a message, either a comment or a question about CPS. And I'll gladly help and answer your question. I'll share with everybody in the room, and they'll help you too. Looks like we got... Now, if you're going to do that, all I ask you is to put your first name, put the city or county your case is in, and ask me that question or comment. Please also include your case so I can know what it's about. That would really help me. Now, a third way is to be a guest on my podcast. A lot of you want to call in when someone else is on the phone. To guarantee to be a guest on a podcast, all you have to do is write my show producer, Grace, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's her email. You put in there, I want Bob's evening show or his morning show. I want his Monday show or his Wednesday show. She'll take care of the rest. She'll give you instructions of how to talk on the podcast and how to get there and so forth. Now, to be a scheduler as our guest, all you have to do is, I say, write in and select one of my shows. I have 14 shows, morning or afternoon, and it's on Monday through Sunday. You just let her know. She'll take care of the rest. She'll give you a link to go on YouTube, and we use the StreamYard application. That's what we do there. And I have room for 9 of you. With me, it makes 10. So a lot of you that want to call in with someone else on the phone, you can guarantee you'll get in if you also, she'll tell you about what to do and not to do on the podcast. If you get knocked off, use that link again. Lastly, the fourth way to interact on this podcast is a call in. My number's up 626-698-0990. And that's my office number. I use Vonage as my application on because we use the internet for our phone. So I use Vonage. And my phone will stay up there. Now, if you call me before my hour, after my hour, I can't talk to you. You have to call me during my work hours. During my work hours. And my work hours is pretty simple to figure out. They're Monday through Sunday, twice a day, and at a set time. The only exceptions to the time is on Saturday and Sunday, or sometimes special arrangements. So that's how you can interact with my podcast. Now, I have 5 rules I'll get out of the way too. Rule 1 is to get yourself an attorney, like Mr. Davis, as you saw at the intro of my show. He has 39 years of experience. He's a trial attorney. He specializes in getting children back from CPS and fights them. He's also had civil suits, both state and federal, with them. So that important thing about getting an attorney and how you go about doing it, well, you need to make some phone calls. I'd get 3 quotes from attorneys. One of them could be Mr. Davis. He'll gladly talk to you. By the way, his office number is 888-888-6582. And that's if you want to retain him or you want another attorney for another service like divorce, or maybe it's custody, or it's criminal, real estate, insurance, workplace, those kinds of things. So he has an attorney for all your needs. You just call in the number. Now, when you call in, make sure you tell him hi. Good morning, and who am I talking to? Hello, you've reached Bob Pace at my morning podcast. Well, we had someone from Napa, it looked like, and they suddenly hung off. Wow. Let me see if we can get her back.
You've reached Kim. I'm sorry I can't get to your phone call. Leave a message, and I will call you back.
Hey, good morning. I got your number. It called me in this morning, and I said hello, but then you disappeared. This is Bob Pace, live on a podcast of Fight CPS. If you'd like to talk. Hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, did you just call in this morning?
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Bob Pace.
Hey.
Yeah, did you just call in?
You want me to call in?
No, did you call in?
No, that was yesterday.
Oh,
you want me to call in today? Or am I live?
You're live right now. So you can talk about your case. I thought it said I must have got the wrong caller here. So that's okay. That's
You're
okay.
I seen you were busy yesterday with all your calls.
Yeah, it is hard
That's
talking
good.
to one person. I like everybody to maybe
Yeah.
think about doing a being a guest, because I can take 9 of you at one time.
Oh, on your show?
Yeah, I can take a max, include myself, of 10. So where are you located?
This is Kimberly, Bob, from Illinois.
Okay, there are probably hundreds of numbers, and I'm sorry, Kimberly. I know you were on last night, and I know you were trying to help me with that lady, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can definitely relate, and unfortunately, it sucks. There's no emotion involved.
Yes,
allowed in the court systems. They
right.
They set you back. It doesn't look good. It can be very hard to keep up with because I have the same kind of trauma.
Right.
I know that when I listen to myself, it sounds a lot like what she was sounding like, and
sure,
it was hard to keep up with it.
Did you get a chance to talk to Mr. Davis?
Yeah.
How did it go? I'm just curious.
Just a dead end road when you're not financially
I know. I'm sorry.
Able.
Well, was he able to talk to you or help you out in anything?
He had a lot of good advice.
Good.
But my situation is a little different. It's not like I have an attorney. That's not. That's sometimes you have politics involved and higher ups.
Okay.
And I can use reciprocity, as you said, with my attorneys, but it's not going to go anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. So it wasn't that his advice was bad. His advice was very good. I just have a different circumstances surrounding my case.
Yeah, well, I understand that. I just want all my listeners to know that if you do talk on my show, you do get a chance to talk to Vincent Davis. Was he a good 15 minutes, or did he talk longer?
We talked about an hour.
See, I want you to know he's not a clock watcher. I offer 15 minutes, and he really gives his time to his people. So.
Yeah. Well, I've been working lately on doing my own deprivation of rights under the color of law.
Okay.
And I know where I have the ground. Like I know that without a doubt there was no warrant to take my children because they took my kids and then they turned around and said we found placement for your daughter, but we don't have the placement for the 3 boys. Instead of them staying in the office, we're going to bring them back home to you.
Yeah.
Now, I know DCFS cannot go against a court order. If there was a court-ordered warrant for the removal of the children, they would not have been able to bring them back and leave them with me unattended. That's one. Point 2 would be if the children were removed for imminent danger, which they have to prove that to get the warrant. And clearly they didn't think there was imminent danger because they were going to leave them with me unattended.
Okay.
24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours, whatever it took, until they found a placement. They didn't call. They didn't check on them. Nothing. So then the next morning, they said, go about your regular activities as you usually do. They didn't tell me to stay at home. They told me just go on about your day. Next day they call me and they said they're bringing me my daughter. They're giving me my kids back, and they're going to go into an agreement with me for intact services as long as I, comply with what they say. Now, I've watched some of these appellate Supreme Court, and there's one called Right to Lie, which is one of my favorites because, they were literally trying to argue that a social worker could fabricate witnesses and evidence in order to seize somebody's child, and that they did nothing wrong because there's no case law saying they can't do that.
Uh-huh.
But it's moral compass and ethic code that says you should not do that.
Yeah.
So, the immunity and the qualified immunity was an argument. And, there's a couple different case laws that apply. But I was watching one, and, this lady kind of went into the agreement and the judge was biased, and I kind of have a biased judge. And this case was really strikingly familiar on several grounds, and it infuriated the appellate court because the judge stated bias on the record. He said it's me against you to the lady, which is just unheard of. And then, on this case, they had also agreed to intact services, so there was they kind of avoided an actual adjudication hearing. Just do this and you can have your kids. And she did do that, then they turned around and took the kids. Kind of like what they did with me.
Wow.
We went into this agreement.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I guess they finally got the legal warrant and they seized the kids. But the first seizure was without warrant. And we know that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Right.
And, so there's that on my case. Then there's the, incomplete deprivation of my familial parental rights. To lie for this other case for a caseworker, and they do this a lot. This would apply to a lot of people's cases, I'm sure. They lie and fabricate things and withhold evidence that would benefit, the parent. Out of these reports. And that right there happens almost in every case. And that right there has been brought to the appellate, the Supreme Court, and the federal court. And it's a big no-no. It's not okay to lie. And that's why I really love the case called The Right to Lie. And how it's just, it's a moral compass. They should not be doing that. But they do it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And until it's brought to a certain level, is it really addressed? The complications I've come across with getting it into the appellate and civil court, you really got to know and do a lot of research. And by the time you get all that research done, you've probably surpassed your 30 days to file. Because it is a lot. It's understanding the case laws, the rules, the procedures, and then you got to draft up. I was doing. There's a 6-page, I think, for the deprivation of rights under the color of law, and a lot of people are going to put the judge and everything on there, and I thought to myself, going after a judge, he has absolute immunity, And
Yeah,
so
judges are sad. I've watched so many judges just do atrocious things. I mean,
oh my God.
there was a judge still beating a dead horse they're so vindictive, these judges are, and they hate when someone beats them or so like that. And it was sad. We have these fires in LA that are really, people lost a lot of things, their home and all their belongings. Meanwhile, the thing shifts back to New York, and the judge in New York says, well, we got you now. You're a convicted felon, and you're going to be the first president as a felon. And I just, to me, I don't know what that impression's going to give. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's like, someone says, "I told you so," and then takes your face and rubs it in the mud.
Yeah.
And I just think there's more
but
things.
There's always two sides to a coin.
Oh, there's three sides actually.
Well, maybe to this one, yeah, maybe.
No, I mean, there's really three sides to. People always say two sides, a heads or a tail, but there's that third side.
Yeah.
It's not what the person said or what you said is what actually happened. That's your third side.
Consider the percentage of this world that is actually a convicted felon.
Oh, yeah. By law, it is. But,
now Trump's going to have all the convicted felon votes.
Yeah. Well, it's still going to be appeal. I think
so
the first
handed him the majority.
Yeah. Well, I think the first time that he gets in office, the 20th, he'll end up having all these things go away. He'll end up doing the appeal and everything. It hasn't stopped. There's still the appeal process. It's just like your kids. When your kids are taken, it doesn't stop there. You can still fight for your kids, still get your kids back. It's just harder. It's more difficult.
It's extremely hard. This system isn't built for people who didn't go to law school.
No, it isn't. Well, it's also even the alert. I've even seen good attorneys getting eaten up by CPS because they lie. They don't play by the same rules in the courtroom. And if you have a real crooked judge, if you have right, I know you. Well, I think what you need to make a change of.
When you hear that hearsay is admissible, you've got an issue.
Yeah.
When you go to a state that says that you need an all-party consent to record, you got corruption. Because the only reason for that is not wanting the truth out there.
I agree.
The ability to corrupt. It leaves that door. And I learned my lesson about Illinois and wanting to live here. And, I can go across the bridge to Missouri, which is 20 minutes away, and record anything. And, they don't like it. They don't like it because they'll call me and they'll say, you're not allowed to record. I have a feeling you're recording us. I said, I'm in another state. I am abiding by that state laws in which I'm standing in and committing the act of.
Well, if you're in a public space, you can record.
If you're in another state, when they're calling you, they could be calling me from Illinois. They're not committing the act of recording.
Yeah.
I'm committing the act of recording. And where am I standing when I do it? In Missouri. And guess what? Missouri is a one-party state.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I learned my lesson with that. I am having trouble with doing this. I don't know if anybody has ever in the history proceed and actually was successful in a defamation lawsuit.
Not in a defamation lawsuit. I agree.
It's so complex. I mean, an appeal is complex. Putting together a brief, well, you're prohibited from having a lot of the discovery. Everything's either redacted or withheld for whatever reason. And how are you to put a brief together if you can't get all the evidence?
Yeah.
It's very unconstitutional. There's a lot of things that need to change. They do these CAC forensic interviews of my kids, right? And 4 attorneys were asked, and 4 all agreed that DCFS or CPS, after the children go to a forensic interview, and it's recorded without the child's knowledge or permission from the parent, or whatever, laws bend for certain people.
Yep.
So they record this, and then they have somebody in DCFS office type out a narration, and then that goes down to the sheriff's department or the police department, and then they type up their summary of that. And through this entire process, not one of the written, and I mean, it's mind-blowing. They will add things that were not said or happened in the forensic videos that are extreme abuse or neglect.
Yep.
Knowing that wasn't in that video, because the parent is not allowed to have a copy of that video.
Okay. I have a couple of
you're gonna
people.
press charges.
Right. I've had a couple of people come in the room. I want to address them real quickly. We have
Okay, go ahead.
Augustin Munoz, who said that I asked them to do it. And then he says, the THS test on my wife, she just gave birth. And is there any way I can tell them I don't want them to do a drug tester? Yes, you can. You can tell them.
Who is they, though? Who is they? The hospital or?
I think she has a birth in the hospital. She said. He said.
So are they? Like, was DCFS called to the hospital because by state law they test the column of the baby, and you can't stop that.
No.
Column test.
I'm talking about a drug test. I guess you're talking about that. No, you can't stop that. I'm talking about if CPS orders a drug test and they want a drug test, they cannot do that. You can say no to them.
Yeah, even if it's court ordered
Right.
in a case,
Right.
you can say no, but it has repercussions.
Right, it does. It does have repercussions. If you're in a hospital and giving birth, they're going to test. They're going to test. It's part of their normal procedures. But they cannot take your child from you unless they have a warrant.
Yeah, no, they can't. But I mean, it is something they normally try to do, but is it legally correct? Like, that would be argumentative given what merit do they have for wanting these testing? Do they have a history?
Exactly. I agree with what you're saying.
But best advice to give is don't give them a positive test. Don't just give them a no test.
Yeah. Now, Mohammed.
That's still a questionable thing.
Now, Mohammed Ismail, hi there. I don't know if you're from one of my other 20 other countries around the world. I do have people that call in with a name like Mohammed Ismail. Are you from the Middle East? Anyway, I like you all to always say your name and where you're from. You know, your city or your county the case was in, and your state. And if you're from another country, your country and province added onto that too. So also, Austin Munoz, I don't know where you're from. I like to know where you're from so I can help you out further. Anyway, we have Kimberly on the phone. She had someone calling this morning, but it's the wrong one. But I'm glad I'm talking to Kimberly. It's the right one because she was talking to me last night.
Yeah, there was a customer on here that was, she had a lot of emotions, and I very much identify.
Yeah, she does.
Her emotional state,
Yeah.
the trauma of a situation like this, and like me, you know, once you're marked, you're always marked, and she's had to go through it several times too, and it's crazy how we don't ever really get to understand the madness behind their motives.
I agree with you.
Okay.
It's awful quiet this morning. I know I'm on early because Vince has got a podcast for question and answers right after my show.
Oh, does he? But how do you get on that podcast?
Okay, you join the school. You join the school. It's free to join his school. It's KOOL. And you join the school.
Oh, it's free to join it?
Yeah, it's free to join it. And then that will tell you what's going to come on or not on or whether I'm on or another thing on. And then when you want to go to it, you just register for that podcast. It's free.
Okay, I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see.
Because at the end of my show, I'll play it again with the links.
So it's KOOL?
Well, let me see if I have rooms that send me links. So let me see if I get my computer to work and get up there. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my computer to work and it doesn't want to work sometimes. Okay, let me see if I have anything here. Well, here's one link, https://candidly.com/apps apptsvwd. That should get you to the
Yeah. It's probably in the link description below in the YouTube that you're on.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm going to look and let you know if it's on there. Wow. Let's see.
Okay, Mohammed says, hello, can you contact me? You have some number. Well, yeah, I have a number here, but I'm already talking on the phone to Kimberly, Mohammed.
You can go ahead and talk to them.
Okay, all right.
Probably need you.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, that was Kimberly getting off. Mohammed, if you want to call in, I'll put my number up, and you can call in right now. But I'd like to know where you're from, Mohammed. I want to help you, Austin Munoz, but you got to tell me your city and state. Your city and state. I do want to help you, Austin Munoz. Mohammed, you can call in. My phone number is up on the screen, 626-698-0990. Okay. Bob Payson, welcome. It's a live podcast.
Hello, it's me. It's me, Agustin Munoz.
This is me. This is Munoz, Augusta Munoz.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, glad to
Yes,
meet
sir.
you. I was trying to find out. I'm trying to find out where you're located. What city or county are you in?
I'm in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, you're in a big city, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, and you had was that the test by the hospital or is that a test by a CPS worker?
Okay, it was just like me and my wife, we were arguing at the hospital, and then I may have told them that she was smoking while she was pregnant.
Oh.
And they said that she didn't come out positive for anything when they did.
Okay.
And so they said they would run another test on her, but I don't want them to run another test. I don't want to end up losing my child.
Well, first of all, they have to have a warrant to take your child, and they have to have suspected something of neglect or abuse. Having a baby born, and again, if the mother test is positive, first of all, she shouldn't be smoking any drugs or doing any drugs because it's harmful to the child. And until child's grown up, you got to do your drug in privacy or somewhere away from your child. And so
it was just it was THC marijuana.
Well, is she adult now, or how old is your wife?
Yeah, she's grown.
Okay. Well, teenage marijuana, trying drugs or doing drugs should not make a mandatory to take away your child. They have to have a warrant. And the first thing you need to do really is get yourself an attorney. You need to get yourself an attorney who is go ahead.
Okay, me and her are together, right? And we have a pediatrician appointment, right? Our first pediatrician appointment on Monday. And I'm scared they're going to do a drug test on her there because they already let us go from the hospital.
Well, if you have a negative test from the hospital, can you get a copy of that paperwork from the hospital?
No, we refused them at the hospital.
They refused to give you the paperwork?
No, we refused to take. I told them that I didn't want her to take a drug test at the hospital. So
well, you already took a drug test. You said earlier.
Yeah, they pulled samples of urine from her, but they never, I guess they never took them or they never tested them or something. They just made us pee in the cup.
Well, you said that they tested earlier and she was tested negative.
Right, because they pulled blood.
That test you need to get a copy of.
But is there any way I can tell the pediatrician not to drug test her?
You cannot. You can ask them not to. You're right. You're right.
Because the paperwork says father requested THC test for the mother.
Why did you request that?
Because we were arguing and it was in the heat of the moment.
Okay. Well, you open up a can of worms there.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm stressed.
Yeah, I understand. I understand there. The problem is they're going to try to get your child because they need money. Atlanta, Georgia, the Child Protection Agency there needs money. It's a $1 trillion business to them.
Well, so that pediatrician appointment after, right? If we do end up going and she does take that drug test, what's gonna happen?
Well, if she tests as positive for any kind of drugs in her system, they're mandated by law because they're a professional to report to CPS that she tested positive. Then it's up to CPS to investigate if that was an old time of smoking weed or a recent time of smoking weed or what.
I see. What about if she just doesn't go to the pediatrician appointment on Monday?
Well, first of all, you can rescind that comment you made. You need to go to your medical insurance and tell them to rewrite it without you asking for a drug test.
Go where? I'm sorry?
Okay, you must have medical insurance, right?
No, sir.
Well, then how did you get that? How did that paperwork get generated if you don't have medical insurance?
She just gave birth.
Well, I understand that, but do you have medical insurance at the hospital?
No, sir.
So how did you pay for the birth?
We still haven't gotten billed yet.
Okay, so you haven't been billed yet. Well, you need to contact the hospital and tell them you want to rescind that order, or don't take her to the pediatrician and find another pediatrician. But you got to pay for that pediatrician unless you have medical insurance.
Okay.
So what you do is that you don't take her to that pediatrician that's not your regular pediatrician. That's somebody new, right?
Right. This is our first appointment. I picked one out, but
all right. What I would do with you is that I would take her to that pediatrician. I'd call up another pediatrician. I don't know if you have medical insurance, but if you don't, then you got to pay for it. But then I go to that pediatrician.
And what can I tell the other pediatrician?
You don't have to say anything. Just say that you changed your mind. You found a better pediatrician.
But about the drug test, because the paperwork they gave us for my newborn baby says on the paperwork in that packet they gave us to turn into the pediatrician.
I understand what it says, but the problem is that you open the can of worms by claiming that. So I'm trying to help you diffuse it. So what you got to do is you can't show them that paperwork to any pediatrician.
They gave us the whole packet. I just don't give them any of the packet information.
Well,
yeah, it's bad.
I'm trying to think. The paper where it says a drug test, is it a full page, a half page, or what?
Yeah, it's a full page with other information about the baby.
Well, I understand that, but the one where it says request a drug test, how much of a page is that on?
Like at the very bottom, just in a comment, basically.
Is there a way that you can cut it off?
It would look suspicious. The paper would be cut in half.
Well, I know what you can do. You can cut it off take the other half, print it on a new page, and then attach it to all your paperwork.
Okay.
So that way it doesn't look suspicious.
Okay, worst case scenario, I just don't take that paper in because I don't really know how to do any of that.
You don't know how to use scissors and cut off the comment where it says take a drug test?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. You just take a scissors and cut straight across the page. Then you put that half a page with the information on a copy machine and print out a new page. The new page won't have that thing about a drug test.
I see what you mean.
And so it'll look like it's part of the packet. You know, they won't know whether there should be something down there or not.
And let's just say, right, I'm not able to do that, and then I just don't turn in that paper. Can I tell them, hey, can I tell the pediatrician, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want her to get drug tested.
I guess you can, but they may want to still. Okay, yeah, you can change your mind.
Because they said, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to take the drug test, we're just going to pull blood from the baby, and they ended up doing that.
All right, then when they pulled the blood from the baby, how did the blood test?
Well, I don't think they let me know.
Why not?
When they did pull blood, they said they were doing jaundice test.
Understood, but you need the results of the jaundice test.
They said everything was fine.
I understand they said everything's fine, but most medical places type in some notes that said we did a blood test for jaundice and it reported negative. So you need that paperwork, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to help you undo what you did.
Yeah, I fucked up. I was just in the heat of the moment, and
I understand.
Basically, but heck, yeah, I think you've been a big help, really. I mean, more than anybody else.
Well, I understand what you're going through. It's a very difficult time because people don't know how CPS is. See, CPS has been involved, right? CPS not been involved yet?
No, they haven't. No CPS, no DCS, no nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, you want to keep it that way. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to be right back at you. Hold on.
You're good. Take your time.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Okay, hold on.
You're good.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, hold on.
Hello?
Hey, Bob. I was just going to say, I think what he was saying in the beginning was that he had a fight with his girlfriend and that he told DCFS that she had drugs in her system and that DCFS or CPS did a drug test on her and she passed the drug test.
No, he said he hasn't talked to DCS. He hasn't talked to anybody from CPS. What he said was he was angry with his wife, and so he retaliated, and he says that he thinks his wife has smoked weed. So the hospital wanted to do a test, but then he changed his mind and said no, so they did a blood test for jaundice. But they did put on the release papers that the pediatrician should do a drug test. So I'm telling him.
Well, by that time, it will be out of the baby system. If they're testing the baby, it will be out of the baby system. By state law, all hospitals are supposed to test any newborn babies, which is the first baby.
Okay, so within 24 hours won't be on there. Okay, I'll go back to him, Kimberly. Thank you.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to comply.
Right.
They do not have to comply any further. Once one drug test is like to hear him specify whether or not he
Okay.
passed that first drug
Right.
test.
I'll
I
ask
think
him.
he said
I'll
he
ask
did.
him. I'll ask him.
Bye.
All right. Hi. Let me see here. I forgot your name already. I'm sorry.
My name's Augustine.
Yeah, Augustine. Yeah. I just talked to one of the people in the room, Kimberly, and she wanted me to ask you, did you not ever talk to a social worker or anybody from CPS? Did you?
No. It
All right.
was just the nurse. The nurse had told me just go to your car. And she's like, "Do you smoke weed?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Just go to your car and go smoke, relax, calm down, and then you can come back in."
She said that?
The nurse, that was her exact words.
Wow. Well, first of all,
she told me to go to the car and smoke and calm down.
First of all, within 24 hours, the child will not have any more traces of drug in their system.
Okay.
So you could go ahead and have them tested, but they should show nothing because it won't stay long in their system.
Now, what about my wife?
Well, did she say to test your child or just your wife?
Well, my wife refused the drug test, so they decided to test the child.
Okay. And they did a blood test and they checked for Gondas, and that tested negative.
Right.
Okay. So what does the release medical papers say?
Basically, that everything is okay. It's just that one page that I have to take to the pediatrician. There's a comment in there about I requested a drug test.
But on who? The child or the mother?
On the mother.
Okay. When was the last time she was smoking?
Before birth.
Right before birth. Okay.
About a day before.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the pediatrician doesn't check the mother. That has to be done by your own family doctor. So you don't want to have that included in with the report. So, as I said, I think just cutting off the page where it talks about that comment, copying that page again, and put another page and attach it to the booklet of materials, it should be okay.
Okay. But you don't think? I know this is crazy, but you don't think that the hospital already sent the pediatrician like a warning or email or notification about it, or they already have the paperwork?
Yeah, I think the paperwork's already gone to the pediatrician. So what you can do when you're in the hospital, at the pediatrician, they're to check out the baby, not the mother. The purpose of the pediatrician is for children under the age of 18. So they can't do anything to the mother. They can't ask to test her. And if they test a child, go ahead.
Sorry, the pediatrician won't test my wife, like if I take her?
No, why would they? Is she under the age of 18?
Yeah, she's way over the age of 18, but it says
if she's under the age of 18, if she's under the age of 18, they would test her. But she's over the age of 18. She's an adult, and adults are tested by doctors, not by pediatricians.
So, if everything goes good there at the pediatrician, what would be my next worry about then? Like, who's going to come after me, or will they come after me?
Well, not unless they report, because you have to have a positive result. If they check the baby, they won't see anything.
So basically, just keep avoiding the drug test on my wife if anybody asks.
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't, their instructions, the follow-up is they want to see how the baby's doing, prenatal care. If you refuse to go to the pediatrician, then CPS could be alerted that you're refusing to take care of your child, and you'll get investigated for neglect.
I forgot. She's breastfeeding. Will the breast milk, if the baby drinks the breast milk, will the baby come out positive for THC?
Well, if she's still smoking, it will, yeah.
No. She stopped. We've completely stopped smoking before birth. And
okay.
Yeah.
You should be okay. I'm not a doctor, and I can't really say. I'm just second guessing it. I think the paperwork has been sent to the pediatrician. So hang on to your paperwork. You don't have to give it to them. They already have the paperwork. Take your child, say you're making an appointment to have your child looked after at birth. They're not going to ask your wife, we need to do a drug test on you.
Okay.
And then you just have to play it one day at a time. Now, if they do call CPS, then what you want to do is that you want to go someplace and not answer the door. Are you still there?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My phone dropped and I hit the mute button by mistake. Do you what you want to do is you want to go with your child to families and friends so they can't find you. Here's the problem. By law, any
go with the child?
Well,
what was that part? I didn't know.
Okay. All right. Okay. I find out it's best to stay away from answering the door. Because that's how CPS usually comes. They'll come knocking at your door.
Oh, okay, I see.
So you don't answer the door.
Okay. For CPS.
Well, for anybody. You don't know if someone's going to shoot you. There's been too many people killed by answering the door.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world. I mean, I'm not laughing. There's a gentleman who's 23 years old. He's the United States Air Force, a black man talking to his fiance on FaceTime in Gainesville, Florida. And the sheriff department, Gainesville, Florida, came out to investigate for domestic violence. He had the wrong apartment, and the guy opened the door, and he had 5 shots in his chest, and he died on the phone. Or there's a black lady that was washing dishes, and she let the sheriff into the house with his deputy, and then he shot her in the face 5 times. Or there was a Korean lady just recently that was shot by 2 policemen, and she had a lot of mental health issues. I'm trying to tell you, answer the door is not safe for a lot of reasons. I mean, CPS is the entities are not that good. Not all CPS are bad, but the ones I've heard from people are really bad. They will come to your home. You'll give them permission to get in your home. Then they'll start looking through your drawers. They like to go through wives' underwear drawer. I have no idea why they do that. They're looking for drugs or whatever they're going to look at. You don't want them searching your house. You don't want them in your house, and you don't want the police to do the same. They have to have what's called a warrant. And it has to be a good probable cause that a crime has been committed. When they go to the judge, they have to testify under oath that they suspect a crime has been committed. And then a warrant has to be signed by a judge. It's got to be stamped and his signature raised. And then it's got to be filled out properly with the proper date and everything.
Okay.
So I know you're thinking ahead, but right now in the hospital, they wrote a comment that you said where you opened up the can of worms. So what you can say is that I said that in the heat of the moment. That's not true. If they ask you about, don't surrender anything. Don't give any information, but say to them, unless they bring it up, that I don't want my wife tested. And what I said was out of the heat of the moment. Don't go in details when you smoke or not smoke. Or the less you say, the better off you are.
Right.
You want to be.
We already got released from the hospital.
That's good news, but you got to be really careful now because people by law that are to report neglect or abuse. Having a child with drugs in its system is neglect.
But and then that's only if she does have drugs in her system. Right now, they all pass for not, except my wife, right?
Right, you don't know that. I would do is have your wife go into her own doctor and have her own drug test done by her own doctor and see what she has.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've already gone 5 minutes past my show time. I have Vincent's show starting very soon, so I need to get off the phone. I'm not trying to cut you short.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You've been a big help. By more than I know, really, seriously, big help. Thank you very much.
Yeah, now Danielle is asking you, what county in Georgia are you?
I really don't want to give out that much information. I don't want to.
Okay, I have Danielle Watt from Georgia, and she was just trying to help. That was all she did, to help there.
Right.
Now, Kimberly has says they do not have a right to do a second drug test when the first one came back negative. Using drugs does not prove the child is in imminent danger and not a cause for removal of the child. Furthermore, as long as you call and report it and you stay away from her until she's clean, they cannot do anything about the child being with you. Did they find drugs in her or the baby? And the answer, Kimberly, no, they did not find it because she was tested for jaundice. Choose which professionals you go to. They cannot dictate that for you. You got to pick your professionals you want to go to. And you don't have to give them the paper either. They have the paper themselves. Yes, don't take the paper. Just go to an appointment, get it done. Get a lawyer is the best pass for you. Bob, I don't think it's a good idea to tell him to alter any documents. I agree. I think I was thinking about too simple. What county is he dealing with? Daniel says. What Daniel says. If they get a report, they must follow up and investigate given the circumstances given at the report of using drugs. And the investigation already did a drug test, which she passed that she could. The drug test, by the way, was not done on the wife. It was done on the infant. And it was not for drugs, for THC. It was for something else. It's a blood test they did. And Daniel says, I believe you that Georgia, I believe that's how Georgia's are. So, they're really bad. Okay, get it now. Yes. Daniel says yes. Okay, I'm just trying to play catch up with all my people in the room. Do not take the child in for drug testing. Marijuana stays in the system for 30 days. The baby's McCallum and system will not be cleaned out by that time. You do not have to take your child. Kimberly says, has been subject to marijuana in the last 30 days. At the same, I do not take the baby to do drug tests. So do not take, if they ask, we want to take a drug test the baby, you don't say no. You already had drug tests taken and it was negative. That's all you have to say to them. Then come back.
I don't take my baby to the pediatrician?
No, I didn't say that. I said don't let them take a drug test on your baby. To say no, that the baby has already been drug tested at the hospital and was clean.
Okay, I see.
Okay, come back when the baby clean and makes it, because Kimberly says they cannot take the baby from you unless you have drugs in your system and you continue to interact with the mother if they do not get involved. You sort of are saying that you're going to hang on to the baby for 30 days, the mother stay away. He is confused. It's okay to go to mediation. Okay. Don't go to the, I don't know. It's okay. Don't go to mediation. Meaning if they ask you, see, she's jumping ahead. Kimberly's jumping ahead.
I see.
Don't go to the pediatrician. The baby was inside her and she was smoking weed. That's going to show up the baby for the next 30 days. All right. Leave the papers at home and go to a regular pediatrician without saying anything. She cannot breastfeed if she has marijuana in her system. So you don't want her to breastfeed. And yes.
She's already been breastfeeding.
Well, oh boy. You got to stop that because it stays in her system there. And Margaret says, good morning. Betty says, and when they took my granddaughter away and that her white county car, the worker told her she was going on vacation. That is a kidnapping. Oh, that's terrible, Margaret. Betty says if it's a recreation use, they can't do nothing about it. And then Margaret says, hi, baby, physician Gibson. They falsify documents for our children to stay in hospitals so they can take the Christ oil out of the spine and take, oh boy, Philistine Gibson. That's really too heavy here for me. Margaret, I've been looking for the message you said to me. I can't find it. All right. I'll look for that too, Margaret. Anyway, I have this person here. I got to end my show. I want to say God bless to all my people. And thank you for talking to me. And I'll be on again at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. God bless y'all. And keep fighting for your children. This is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.